different story altogether, isn't it? Where's the wheel?
What are you wearing on your head, Steve?
Hair.
That's his arm. He's sitting. He's laying on his couch, so he's got his arm up over his head.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're seeing the pillow thing in his hat?
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was a hat.
Yeah, I thought it looked like he had a double horn turban.
Nice.
Gene, your age is catching up with you.
Double horned turban.
You know Steven and his double-horned turbans.
That wacky turban of his.
Yeah.
Interacting with the wheel. All right, so on our wheel, we have 6 different genre. We don't know what we're playing until we spin it. So everybody call out, spin the wheel, and I'll get to going on it. 3, 2, 1, spin the wheel!
Spin
The
the
wheel!
And it's spinning, 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 slowing, slowing. Welcome back to Dust and Six Guns. It's the Wild Wild
Oh
West.
no!
We've played it twice before, but that's okay. We are in the Wild Wild West. That means
I'm using a BP.
types.
Re-roll.
Wow. Okay.
A
Introducing
real VP?
We're gonna burn one off of which character? Okay, so for Chrissy's
From
reference,
this game.
a BP is a blessing point. It's an award that I provide when somebody's been particularly clever in a role play situation. Most often, it's for a really crappy wordplay or whatever that makes people cringe or laugh. Yes, so I reward what in other people's games might be bad behavior, but
Puns?
I laud it. I laud it a lot. So, you have one off of this game? When did you get one? What do you remember what it was for?
I think it was for the dinosaur game.
I think you might be right. You really want me to respin Dust and Six Guns? Because
Yeah,
whatever
I
the
do.
roll is, we're taking it. Okay. You want a re-roll? We'll do a re-roll, but only
Dust
one.
and Six Guns for the second time. Come on.
I can do that. It's possible. It's done it. We've done it before. Interacting. Shout it out again. 3, 2, 1. Spin.
Spin
the wheel.
Well.
Well.
Dust and Six Guns
You're fucking
for
with me,
the
right?
win. For the win.
Fucking with me, right?
No, it's on the screen right now. Go look at Twitch. You'll see.
Okay.
I spun Dust and Six Guns a second time.
It has been chosen.
It has been chosen.
You lucked out, boy.
All right.
You can't
Wow,
control the
Steven.
game, man.
That was
Every
the
time you-
worst use of a BP I have ever seen.
No, I saw somebody.
Tried-
I saw somebody.
Tried to re-roll the whole world and you failed.
I had somebody that they tried to re-roll an 18 because they wanted the crit so bad, and they rolled a 4. So yes, I've seen a worse way to re-roll.
Wow.
And Allie burned. Okay, so Allie was in a situation where her character had hit character death. She'd failed her first saving throw into death saves, so she had already rolled a 1. So that meant she already had 1 death save strike against her. She rolled a second time and rolled another 1, which would have been 2 more death saves, which would have been death. So she says, no, I'm going to burn a BP to re-roll that. No, she used her name tag and re-rolled that. And so she got another 1.
Oh, no.
So now she goes, no. She goes, I got 1 BP left. Let me burn that 1 BP. And I kid you not, she rolled a 4th 1. Now that was horrible.
Sorry.
That was horrible.
That character was destined to die.
Well, no, here's the funny part. The same day, half an hour before, she had an interaction with the gods and had gotten a boon from the luck god. So she could have at any time just said, there's no roll, I automatically make the roll. But she'd forgotten that she had the boon. And so the god shows up and says, I'm putting you back in this world just to punish you because you screwed up so bad because you had the boon. I'm taking the boon away from you.
Wow.
So I made her live through it. And that's Umara. She's still around today. So.
Ha ha.
Alrighty. So
Okay, Dust and Six
Dust and
Guns.
6 Guns. Let me go open the.
Hooray, Steven, hooray.
I try to save us from the same.
All right. So I'm
It's
waiting.
a great setting. I mean,
Okay.
there's so much you can do with it.
So Chrissy, your choices for characters are from the following general list. You can play as a sharp, which means you are the face. You are the card playing savvy, worldly wise, slick fella, or
Oh, it could be a
slick young
girl.
lady.
I played a
Yep,
girl.
yep.
I,
Yep, you can be
well,
Ella is non-binary, I think.
yeah, exactly. You could be a shootist, which means you are just really handy with any weapons. Think Quigley Down Under, or just name Billy, whatever. All of those guys. Then there's the barber. That's sort of like your healer. He tends to be practical. He pulls teeth, but he also can do a bulbous bouffant. So there you go. Then you have the prospector, and the prospector is pretty good with stuff dealing with rocks and climbing and that kind of thing. But he's also tends to be pretty sneaky. He can come up with whatever he needs to survive. An improvisationalist, maybe a little bit of MacGyver kind of a thing. Then you have your wrangler, and your wrangler is your cowboy. He's usually good with the ropes. He can throw a lasso. He can ride a bucking bronco, that kind of thing. And then there's the rectifier, and the rectifier can be everything from the marshal and the law down to just the practical guy that wants justice, the rogue samurai, so to speak. And so you get to pick from one of those 6 types of characters as your archetype. So what would you like to play, Chrissy? Giving the benefit to the first player because she's the new player. So.
And I fail so bad.
Well, given that I am unfamiliar with the setting and everything, I'll stick with what I know and do the first one that you mentioned.
Okay, the sharp, the classy
Yes.
lady with a little bit of style, a little bit of an edge, maybe.
I mean, I can play a dude. Whatever.
Oh, it don't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you'd like to play. This is the concept behind Playground is this.
I will be right back.
Sure. When I developed this mechanism, what I said was, I remember when I was a kid, we'd play cops and robbers, we'd play World War II, we'd play cowboys and Indians, all these different settings we would play through, but there was always the "I shot you, no you didn't" kind of thing. So there was never a way to adjudicate that kind of thing. And then, lo and behold, when I'm 11 years old, I find out about Dungeons and Dragons, and I go, aha! There are rules for playing in the fantasy realm. So since then, I go, let's find a way to do this so that it's just like in the old Playground, where there's no real rules. It's just somebody who goes, no, actually, I understand what the setting was, and you did actually get shot by that person. So you have to worry about getting to water. Now, each setting has its own way to resolve, quote, character death. So when things happen in the westerns, I don't know if you've ever watched any of the old westerns, the Clint Eastwoods, John Wayne's, even going farther back than that, Roy Rogers, Tom Mix,
Rogers,
all of those guys.
Dean Autry.
It doesn't matter. Even down to the modern ones like Silverado have in them this little mechanism, and that is, until you got to water, you're dying. You're bleeding. You're falling on the ground. But as soon as you get to any source of water and can get a drink, you're cured. Next scene, you're back to fighting fit. You can be wearing an arm thing if you want, but there's no need for it because you are fully healthy and able to protect yourself. So just realize all you got to do is get to water and you're okay.
It's called the water of life.
But it was an old trope in all the westerns. So.
Yep.
Right. If you have a water
Canteen.
skin, does that count as getting to water?
Yeah, as long as you have access to it. So the greatest example I could think of is the guy that was standing on top of the wall, shooting from the high spot, and one of the players decided to shoot him, but he fell into the horse trough.
Yeah.
So he's able to come out of it shooting.
It's tons of fun.
Alrighty, so some stream ethics situations here. We try not to talk over each other. We usually fail horribly, but we at least try to not talk over each other.
Oh, I'm joking.
Steven is a little bit impetuous. He's usually our loose cannon, so I'm going to give him the second choice. What do you want to play?
I want to be the crazy prospector.
Alrighty, there we go. He's our finder. If something you need, it's the prospector that can come up with it. It's always
Back.
If only I had a shovel.
I have Gru. Gru is the best way to get some food.
Totally appreciate that, Chrissy. We all have situations like that. Steven usually has a fan going that sounds like the.
Sorry.
No, I'm not saying right now, but generally we'll hear this going on, and so he often mutes himself for that reason. And Travis has a dog that is mortally afraid of their Roomba, and so he usually ends up with a 100-pound white shepherd leaping onto his chest. So,
And you can always tell
and
because he's gasping for breath.
And Jean, bless her heart, most often will get a phone call from somebody about the IRS or her health or something like that, and she'll forget to mute herself. And so we have to mute her on the outside, because otherwise her entire life's sensitive information would be blasting out across Twitch. So
And I hate
we honor you for being able to put on the mute button there. So if we look at you and we see your lips moving, we can't hear anything, we'll figure you're either playing out a Japanese role or waiting for the overdub, or you've forgotten to unmute yourself.
So
all right, so
what's
so
been
far
chosen already?
So far all we have our sharp, which Chrissy, when you come up with a character name for your role, go ahead and change your name. You can hit the rename button in the corner there of your little window and rename your character so that way I can see the character's name. So I'll call you by that during the game. So Steven is our prospector, our finder, our handyman, all of that. That's the only 2 roles that have been taken. And next, I'm going to go with the old trope of ladies first. Jean, if you would, please.
I want to be the shooter.
Oh, she's the shootist. All right, she's the gunslinger. Now, when it says shootist, it gives you kinds of options. So are you going to be the pistol-bearing kind, or are you like a Quigley Down Under with a rifle? Or something more bizarre? Because remember, shootist also would include, for example, if you were an actual samurai who gets misplaced. So you could be a Shanghai Noon kind of a character if you want as well.
Oh, that's fun.
Jackie!
What's your name? Chong Wang. John Wayne? That's not a name for a cowboy. John Wayne. That's ridiculous. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
So, Jean, you're going to play a samurai? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay. She just literally got off the boat and decided she didn't want to help build the train, and so she went actually, ironically, it means she traveled east to get to the west. That's pretty funny. All righty. And then Travis.
I guess I shall be the rectifier.
The law. Okay, so are we playing on the side of the law, or are you the righteous kind of rectifier that whatever the legal system is screwed up? We haven't.
Well, that's usually my take on it.
Okay.
But maybe I'll do like one of the freelance. I'll be a Texas Ranger or something that's more
Whichever you prefer.
open.
Whichever you prefer. Put it in your character name so I can know where to go into the
Oh,
story.
poo. I got this filled out. I hit the P instead of the O.
Oh, Tamakip?
No, Tamiko
I know.
Nakamura.
Nice name, Steven. That is awesome.
What's that?
Cookie Farnsworth.
Cookie? Cookie.
Cookie Farnsworth. Nice.
Do you know where it's from, John?
Go ahead and tell me. I'm sure you're going to tell me anyway.
It's from the Atlantis movie. He's a prospect. He's
Nice.
the cook.
Nice. One of my favorite prospector characters is actually from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yep.
Nice.
Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius. Throws his axe in the air, falls into the ground, picks it up, licks the tip.
You know, he's kind of like the characters from the with the water is life, but instead of water, he likes feeding people brew or beans.
Beans.
Like all you
Beans,
need is
bacon,
beans.
whiskey, and lard. 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
Bean biscuit.
And they're best when they're all mixed together.
And he's got a tattoo of all 28 states tattooed on his chest.
Change your name, Travis.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Trying to think of one.
Oh, let's see if I have a. Oh, I need a samurai picture. Ooh.
Well, look, go to like the fusion sites and try to get a Western. So somebody, because that's actually a trope if you think about it from movies like Kung Fu and things like that, where American West was a place where those people wandered around as well.
Yeah.
Soldiers of fortune, Ronin, who no longer had the land, no longer trusted the empire, that kind of thing. What a seriously concerned. There we go. Is that pronounced Henri?
Henri.
No, Henrietta is Henry Pangborn. Alrighty, nice. Are any of you landed? What I mean by that is, do any of you own any property? I don't see Cookie or Tamiko being landowners, but they might be. But I just need to know if there's any landowners among you, from the standpoint of storytelling. So does Henrietta own a business or own a property of some sort? All right, there you go. We got it. She owns the saloon. Go ahead and you can also use the chat to give us like the names of the saloon and some of the responses, so you don't have to unmute yourself if you don't want to in those kind of cases when you have enough time. So if you have a name for the saloon, otherwise we'll come up with it as we go. Okay, Chico. Why are you a righteous? Why are you a rectifier? What is it that set you off?
What set me on my path?
Yeah. What usually it's the Yellow Rose. All right. So clearly we are in East Texas, because that's where the Yellow Rose would be. If they name like that, it's got to be there in the Yellow Rose of Texas. All right. And that also, I don't know how much you know about the Civil War era, but a Yellow Rose was a Northern sympathizer in the South. Someone who didn't want to fight for. Oh God, really? Really? This is actually this is a hysterical inside joke, because from the very first episode when we played Dino, we played Dino Swamp. Travis brought
damn
up,
it!
brought up Sean Connery, and so Zardoz shows up in almost all of our episodes for some reason. And so thank you, Travis, for taking.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Image. But anyway, so Yellow Rose was not sympathetic with the slavery aspect. They were for states' rights, but not for slavery. And so a Yellow Rose referred to somebody who was sympathetic with the Northern cause, even though they were clearly rebels in their hearts.
I was trying to put in public chat Henry's Palace, and I did a private message instead.
Okay. Oops. Alrighty. So, sounds good. And let's see, what else do I need?
Oh, female samurai.
Yeah.
Female
No,
samurai.
you'd actually be Ronin. You wouldn't be samurai.
Okay, I did
Yeah,
know
you
that.
could-
Samurai by definition is a warrior who is associated with the structure.
Lord.
Yeah, you would have a daimyo, you'd have a boss, so to speak. But the Ronin are people who are unlanded, and a female, more than likely, it means that your family was samurai, and for whatever reason, and more than likely, unfortunately, because you were a female, you were never going to get the rank anyway. So you learned everything from your father or whatever, but you were never going to get to be the landowner, and so you came east.
Probably did some great shame to your family, and that's why you had to leave.
No, I didn't.
Very.
In case there was no
very
prospects
great
for me.
shame.
Right. No, it doesn't even have to be her that did the shame. It could have been her family was disowned or whatever, from the local region, simply for arming.
They were falsely accused, and everybody was
Of
against
course.
them because they were a powerful family and next in line for the throne, and then so somebody wanted them out of the way.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, well, good.
Oh,
good
I
to hear.
like it. Very nice picture of Henrietta there. Very nice. Bravo.
Ooh.
A lot better than Chico there. Of course, Chico's prepared for battle. All you need is your bandolier of bullets and your pistol.
Yep.
Yeah, I like his shotgun.
Give me a second. If we're gonna do pictures, then
Yeah, bring up your toothless one. I like that one you had the other day. Alrighty, so we are going to start this at the Yellow Rose, and as a precursor to the scene, the local magistrate, a city-appointed sheriff, has said that we're going to have to start taxing the sale of alcohol because there has been a rise in crime. Now, the only crime that's been committed recently is the fact that the sheriff has started to gamble excessively and is in a lot of trouble with a local scoundrel by the name of Weston. There we go. I have to say, I love that movie, except for the part that I thought that would be the best ended up being the worst, which was Tonto. I really felt bad. Really felt bad about Johnny Depp's version.
Yeah.
But the guy who played Lone Ranger was trying really, really hard to make that movie work. Oof. Sad.
Yeah, it was.
Sad. Train wreck. Alrighty. So anyway, Weston's been giving the local community trouble because now that he basically owns the sheriff, he's been able to run roughshod over a particularly beautiful area nearby known as Maryvale. There we go. Marivale. And Maryvale is the perfect idyllic place to raise sheep. It has very verdant grassland, ample water resources, and just generally is a great place to raise sheep. So a couple of sheep herders and their family migrated here after the last westward push, and Mr. Weston's wanting to run them out. To do that, he's got to put pressure on the locals who like the peaceful Mennonite. Wow. Ooh. That's a really pretty picture too. Scary. Wow. Okay.
It's angry.
Yes, the angry one.
Well, everything that was drawn on that particular thing were in whites, blacks, grays, and red.
Oh no, I like it. It complements the Henry picture, so that's good. Oh, there we go. Yay. Is he playing with the Rubik's Cube? No, I don't know what that bright color is.
No, that's all 28 states tattooed on his chest.
Oh, nice.
He's making Rhode Island dance right now.
Okay, that's disturbing. Thank you for that mental picture. He learned from The Rock how to do that, how to flex the individual muscles. That's pretty funny.
No, he just jiggles his stomach.
Oh, that works too. Alrighty. So the
right here.
one of the shepherds by the name of Davis has come to Henry basically asking for support, and she's kind of drawn you guys together to talk about what can be done to fix the problem. So I don't know if you're able to now talk, Henrietta. I saw you unmuted yourself. If that's possible, you take over the dialogue with your. These are people that you know from the local area. Steven, you need to come up with put your character name back on there. Cookie.
I'm the
Oh,
newcomer. I wrote in not too long ago for
Right.
reasons unbeknownst to nobody.
Right. Been sitting in the corner all day, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pico Tarfield.
So take it away, Henry, if you can.
Sure, I'm just trying not to talk over people.
Fair enough.
So, that I understand the setting. We have Cookie as the newcomer, who's been sitting in my saloon all day drinking, I'm assuming.
Chico. Yeah.
Chico's a newcomer.
Chico's the newcomer, sorry.
No.
And then we have Cookie and Tamiko.
Right.
He comes in after he's gone out prospecting, has a binge or two on what little dust he's found, and
That's fine. I get paid all the same, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
And we're trying to find out what again? I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. The local shepherd, sheep herder by the name of Davis, basically came to you because he knows you're relatively influential in the town because your saloon is fundamentally the town. Between you and the general store, that's all the real sources there are to spend money within 100 miles of this place. And so they're asking you for support of the little growing community called Maryvale, where the shepherds have kind of claimed the property, and the evil sheriff has been starting to put pressure on them, and so they came to you hoping you could find some way to convince the sheriff to lay off of them.
All right. So, Chico's been sitting off by himself. He's relatively new, but I've probably gleaned some information from him to know who he is and what he's doing, because I don't want trouble here.
Sure. So, Chico, do you want to assist Henry, give her a little bit of information about yourself, just the stuff you would have said as a traveler through town? Because you're obviously intent on fixing something, but you're not sure what you need to fix yet, kind of thing.
He's here to see the wrongs done right and to lift up the weak and lowly. There's rumors that he may be a Texas Ranger, and there's rumors that he may just be a crazy fool with a gun. But either way, he's here to help. That's what he says. And but he has some dark past, and he's not willing to let it go yet. So he sticks to himself because he doesn't want no pretty people like you to get hurt.
Wow, that just made my skin crawl. Anyway, all right.
To make it a little easier on you, you're familiar enough with these folks that these literally are your regulars as well. Other than Chico, the other two you've known for a while. They've been in the area. When we were kids in the playground, we didn't have to worry about how the characters met. We just were there in the story. So,
well, yeah.
So I'm just trying to ease the tension of, oh, it's a new game and I don't know these players. Don't worry so much about that. Think of it more.
Nah. I was taking the route with Chico because he said he was new.
Right.
But the other two I know, so knowing that he's here because he wants to right a wrong, and knowing that I have had these sheep herders come to me about this great injustice, I'm going to direct to Nico and Cookie to go sit with him and chat with him, get to know him, buy him a drink or two, whatever. And at my earliest convenience, I will go over to the table and explain what's going on with the sheep herders and find out if they would like to help.
Okay, so in the context of that, she has just related that to you. The rest of you now can respond to what you've heard so far.
What's the name of the big guy that wants to constantly pressure people?
Oh, the sheriff.
Yeah.
The sheriff is working on behalf of a guy named Weston. The sheriff's name is, just to be glib, Nottingham. There we go.
Nottingham.
His name is Sheriff Nottingham.
Okay.
Wow.
And then
Gonna vote for a new sheriff. That's what's gonna happen. We need.
Steven, you're talking over folks again.
Oh, sorry. I give up. I give up.
Yes, I have noticed the constant harassment of those who are weaker. Who's trying to bully them. This is bad.
Well, I gotta say, I think this is about more than just sheep. When the sheep get up and angry, there's something sickly in the water.
Water is tainted.
No, what I'm saying is that if the local sheep and something so trivial is getting all hickored up and angry, then there's probably something more sickly going down deeper than that. There's probably something worse going on with this here Nottingham fella than just this sheep business. Because it takes a long time for someone to get brave enough to just start taking over stuff in a town like that. He's probably got some sort of underground business. Anyone know where his money comes from?
Weston or
Whoever.
Sheriff
So
Nottingham? Sheriff Nottingham is Weston's man.
Ah, that's the thing.
He doesn't do
okay.
law
So
for
the question,
the people.
the question he's asking, Henrietta, you are aware that Weston came in here with a lot of money and talked originally about improving the town. Then, within the first couple of weeks of buying the ranch that he bought, he stopped talking about improving this town and started talking about how Waco was going to be the big city. And Waco is about 27 miles north of here. So it's not far, but the problem is that from a business standpoint, he basically bought into this local community and then switched up where his allegiances were to someplace in Waco. There's something to be followed up there in terms of story to find out what would cause him to change his mind and why would he buy this property if he wasn't going to be promoting the growth of the town. Because usually people with that kind of money are trying to buy influence, and that's what it seemed like he was doing. But then he just kind of turned his eyes on Maryvale. So
He's the one with the gambling problem, right?
yeah, yes.
Okay.
No, the sheriff is one who had a gambling problem, so the sheriff is now. That's how the sheriff ended up in Weston's pocket, because Weston basically paid off is holding the marker.
Gotcha.
I do believe that he has information that no one else has. Such a switch from what he was when he first came here to what he is doing now is not made lightly.
Well, we can go to the ranch. Maybe there'll be something special. Maybe the reason he wants this land is for certain reasons.
You often frequently travel a lot. Have you
Yes.
ever been across his lands?
Maybe. I would have to really think about it.
It is hard to tell when there are no boundary lines.
Oh, there's a fence. He may put a fence down. I think, right? John, can I do a history roll or something, or memory check?
No, just make it up. Do you have you crossed his property?
I have crossed his property. He gets a little bit upset about it, but it's like right through the town. You gotta get through the property to get to the town, and he always gets like, "Hey, get to the back up," and I'm like, "Wow, have some groove. It's good. It keeps you healthy. Let me pass by."
So he owns the road.
Basically,
Feels like-
the land he bought actually is the route between here and Waco.
Sounds right down fishing to me. Right
Um,
darn fishing.
Lady Henrietta, what do you know about that land out there? Is it good farming land or herding land?
Well, we've already described the area that he's putting pressure on. It's a verdant watershed.
Ah,
and that's
Right,
where
but the land he bought.
okay. So yeah, he bought the land adjacent to Maryvale, and although he originally said he was going to support that community, he's kind of turned their backs on he's turned his back on them for some reason, and it's been fairly abrupt. And now he's trying to pressure them to get out.
So he wants their land.
It
He wants it.
seems
He
like
says he doesn't want this town here.
it's almost like he bought his property thinking that he was going to convince everybody else to sell to him, because he was, that he was going to come in and make it better for everybody, and he ran into a brick wall, so to speak, when he ran into the Mennonites, the shepherds, because they didn't want any trouble. They just wanted to tend their lands and take care of their flocks.
Sheep.
Yes. And tending their flocks is a double entendre, because they also are religious people. So there you go.
Right, so what y'all think? How are we going to get more information about this? Should we go check in on this Mr. Weston?
Right. So there's several things to take into account. Number one, Chico, you came in from areas to the south, and you do know that the south and the west of here, and so you do know that the Santa Fe Railroad is trying to build across to connect up with the Tennessee railroads in the south. This area would be a perfect place for such a train route, because the water would be available for the trains, and so it would make sense to move through Maryvale. The fact that the pressure is coming from Waco has to do with the fact that there's an Atchison Railroad coming down out of Kansas that's wanting to connect to Santa Fe, but they want to control the routes. And Rita's got to step away. She'll be back in a minute. So, therefore, there is you do have knowledge that suggests that maybe you want to look into the railroad connections and what maybe holdings that Weston has in those respects to the north. You also could look into the land office in terms of the property here. Texas isn't known for its mining, so it's really funny that Cookie is out there trying to mine gold in East Texas. More than likely, he keeps hitting this black tar-like substance and doesn't know what to do with it. he keeps marking the spots and claiming them, but he doesn't know what they're going to be worth down the road. I don't know what they're good for now.
You never know. You always keep it up. It looks quite impressive. I just don't know if it's useful just yet. Go wasn't precious until we put value into it.
Now that sounds like a drifter. Gold don't have no value to you. Describe it, son. So if you ain't got that gold you got, you don't really need it. Just go ahead and give it to me, because it's worthless.
Yeah.
It's fool's gold.
Nice.
And I'm the fool, so give it to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, let's go check in on this land office, see what his holdings are.
All right.
See what's what and
Okay.
who.
So I gave you at least 2 courses of action. Let's see,
Yeah,
third,
Waco.
Third would be to go talk to Davis and find out what they mean when they say they've been being harassed or harried, to find out how really bad it is. Because simply, if it's just whining and complaining, that's really it's just get over yourself and get some tougher skin. But there could be some criminal activity going on. And also to maybe talk to either Weston or the sheriff to find out what the story is from their angle, because so far all you're hearing is the complainer. So I'm just giving you a lot of different options so that everybody's got something to do, so you don't end up just following each other around. So
I'm gonna go talk to the sheriff. Have a quick understanding with him.
okay, so Chico's going to follow up the land office aspect. Cookie's going to go talk to the sheriff. Tamiko, what in particular did you want to do?
I was thinking I'd drive to Waco and find out about the railroad.
Okay, all right. That would
It's
kind
over a day away.
One day there, one day back.
Mhm.
But there's no other way to get there.
True.
What are you looking for in Waco?
She's gonna go talk to the people that she knows that work for the railroads.
Yeah.
the scuttlebutt on that side. See, because she would know perhaps which direction the railroad is going, that kind of thing, because her friends would be working on the railroad itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone would know, and it would spread.
And
All right.
so
Dog.
so Henriette had to go take care of some local some other customers, and so she'll be back when she gets back. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and take care of these other items. Let's go with the order of the closest to the most distant. Cookie runs literally across the street to the sheriff's office. Sheriff's sitting behind his desk, looking at a black book. He's got his brow is rather furrowed, and when you walk in, he slams the book close and shoves it in his drawer in the desk.
Sheriff! Sheriff! Sheriff!
Yeah, Cookie, what are you doing?
What? You look so skinny. You haven't been eating? Give me a moment. Don't you move. I pull out a pot of
Beans.
and then place in a bowl. And like, here you go, chef. You need to eat. You need to get some meat on that bones. We have some problems here. Make sure you finish that. That's good stuff.
He looks down at the food and looks at you like, well, Cookie, you're acting strange. And he takes a bit of a taste of it, and it's not bad. And so he does attack the bowl with relish. He's like, you're surprised that he does actually act like he hasn't eaten all day. And he says, well, my lungs are sticking to my ribs. It's so bad. So thank you kindly for bringing me something to eat. But well, Cookie, this isn't like you. What are you up to? What's your angle?
Well, it seems the people at the sheep, the shepherds, the shepherds. I forgot the.
What do you know about them? He stops.
They seem to be having a problem, man. And it's their family, the town. They're like you, chef. Your family. You represent the town. You keep the peace. You're the figure man. I figure I come to you since,
Well,
everybody looks up to you, and I feel like you would be the best person for this.
Well, I get that, but I'm not a well man. I'm getting up here in years, and those people from that commune down here, those crazy religious fanatics are going to be problematic in the long term. I see problems on the future in the horizon.
I'd like to change the channel.
But they haven't done any harm to anybody, and they're good Christian people.
Yeah. But
if you really think of the long run, like, who's gonna take care of you when you're old? You're gonna want someone who actually cares about you, not just some random child that doesn't even care about your living, just wants your money for after you pass away. That damn little. Sorry. My nephew's always asking for, where's that gold? And I was like, yeah.
You're rambling, Cookie. You're rambling, but I think I understand what you're trying to talk about. I just, Mr. Weston's been really good to me, and he's making sure that he keeps up on his promises, and so.
I've been noticing that he's been very particular on his promises. He did promise to make the city bigger, and then he just did a whole 180.
Now, Cookie, you're stepping on some dangerous territory there. I can't speak to his previous actions. I just know that right now I have to
survive,
Yeah, I get that, Cookie, but I really need to focus on making sure we maintain the law and order in this town for however long this town lasts.
Well, with you as a chef doing your job, I'm sure our town will last for eons.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for the beans. Here's your bowl back. That was very tasty, and it did plumb hit the spot. But I do need to get back to my business. So You have a great afternoon. And he kind of shoves you out the door, closes it, and flips the sign out to lunch, even though he just ate.
And I'm gonna walk around the back. If there's a window, I'm gonna look through it and see if I can see.
Okay, so when you go around to the back of a jail, what you'll see is the little barred window, and laying in there is another of the one other local drunk, and that guy is a ne'er do well by the name of Angelus, and Angelus has been off and on in the cell for the better part of the last 3 months. He's been on a bit of a bender, and that's because he's been when he does get hired, it's by Weston, and usually he's gone for 2 days, and then when he comes back, he goes on a bender. So,
Hey man, hey, you awake?
I got. What do you want, Cookie? I've been sleeping.
I got a little swig of liquor. I take out a cup and I take out my personal choice brandy, and I pour it. It's like, do you want some?
Oh, sure. I could do with a liquor too. Sure.
Well, can you help me? What is the? Could you check what the sheriff is reading? But don't tell him. Don't tell him that you're checking.
I
what you're
can't
doing.
see that from here. Although he's
What?
probably looking at his books, he's in real trouble, you know.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I don't reckon know what it is much. Maybe Henrietta might know. There was a card game a couple days ago, and sheriff was a bit, shall I say, pissed, and ended up losing like a lot. And all of a sudden, Mr. Weston's got me running up north to talk to somebody, and I didn't know what I was doing necessarily. It just was, a good way to make a couple of silver coin, and was able to get myself back in the alcohol to which I am accustomed.
Oh, I understand. What did he have you do?
No, I can't go into details. He's sitting right over there.
I shake the bottle like, man, this is getting quite heavy. If only I had someone to give this to.
Give me a sip, and I'll see what I can find out.
I pour a little bit back into the bottle so he doesn't get drunk. It's like enough for a sip, and I hand him the sip of a cup.
Well, he drinks it down to the point where he's like licking the inside of the cup and using his finger to get every last little drop. Much obliged, and I'll see what I can do, and we'll talk tomorrow, okay?
Okay. All right, head out.
Next, Chico. Land office. The little bell at the door. The lady sitting behind the desk has a little bit of whiskers on her chin. She's probably in her late 50s. Sallow face, blue eyes. Suggests that when she was younger, she was probably a bit of, shall we say, a mixer. So, but the years have not been kind to her, and so she's got this bitterness in her personality, a bit of fastidiousness. There's a single little daisy in a little cup with about a quarter of an inch of water in the bottom of it. She looks up at you. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the East Texas Land Office. How can I help you?
Good afternoon, little lady. Might you looking pretty today?
Why, I declare, thank you so much. What can I do for y'all?
I'm here to get some information.
Oh, that's what we have lots of here. We don't have a lot of real substantial claims, but we do have some land disputes that we resolve here from time to time.
I'd like to look into the hosting sorry, what's the word?
The land grants or
Right.
the land claims.
I'd like to look into the land claims made by Mr. Weston.
Oh, well,
Tabby.
I do have quite a few different filings in the name of Weston. Most of them are recent. What in particular can you looking for? Because most of his documents are quite in order. He does have that lawyer, from Kansas City.
Well, if you could just rattle me off the most recent of his holdings.
Well, he did buy that parcel of land just just south of what is it, Posadas. It's about 25 miles farther east, a little bit north of here.
And I hear he's looking to get some more land of that stuff next to him that those
Well, there
shepherds
he does.
own.
He did file a dispute against the Holdens of the Davis clan, as they did get in that land under arguably questionable circumstances.
Oh, really? Do tell.
Why, yes, the previous mayor of this town, which is kind of a joke, the guy who actually built the Yellow Rose in the first place before they sold it to the Pangborns. That property was rightly held by. You might have heard the name Buford Forrest. And
I can't say that I did.
Well, General Forrest was rather well established in the correct government. She looks furtively down at her desk, and you see she's got a little tiny Confederate
I
flag.
have a remote in my room.
I see.
It
I
doesn't
see.
have
I
any
see.
batteries, and I don't know the
It's
code
just a
for it.
small, the kind you would wave at a parade. It looks like she probably had it clear back when they liberated Fredericksburg. So
Right.
she's clearly not on the right side, so to speak, ideologically, but she got herself a decent job, after the death of her love.
Well,
her
that's
loving
good to
colonel.
hear. That's good to hear that we got supporters still around.
Yeah. Well, had we the opportunity to achieve more, we would have done so. But that's neither here nor there. Nonetheless, Buford Forrest's nephew was named Davis, and so you might have heard of the other relatives, the Jefferson Davis.
Hmm.
Nah, no ringing a bell.
Nope, my bells ain't ringing today.
Yeah. So I think maybe I don't have so much to tell you as you might think, you being a Yankee. But
What you mean I'm a Yankee?
you don't know the hallowed Jefferson Davis, our former president?
Well, if you see during the whole comeuppance,
Mm-hmm.
he points at his ear. I had a cannonball come into a tree right next to my head. Kind of jumbled up a few things.
Yeah. Probably forged in Vicksburg.
Right, so our illustrious president is related to this Weston.
Nah, he's
Or
related.
the former Holdens.
No, yeah, right. So Buford Forrest owned the property, and he lend leased it to the Davises. The Davises were the descendants or related to the former president of the Confederacy. Therefore, a Northerner would look at this as a speculative landholding. She, being a Confederate, holds the position that the land is legitimate.
Right. Well, when in Rome.
So, anyway, yeah. So it's a bit of a twist on the idea that the Confederacy had people that were sympathetic but were peaceniks, and that's hence the town's bar is called the Yellow Rose.
Okay.
And then that was sold to the Pangborns recently because of the need for funds to continue to maintain their lawyers in holding on to the property they own. So what you found is that they are actively contesting, and there is actually a claim placed against their property by Weston. All right.
Right, but you never got around to saying what these Davis clan did to get their land.
I did. It was bequeathed to them by the previous owner.
Oh, I thought we were still talking. Never mind. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, because Bedford Forrest was a general in the Confederate Army.
So it was the Rutherford and the clan, as in the Shepherds, are the ones that got the clan from the Confederate dude. I was still thinking under the impression that it was Weston.
Right. No, the Weston is by definition a carpetbagger.
Mm-hmm.
He's a politician come down from the north with the idea that he would fix the town, And once he got rights to the local area and found that he was going to have to fight with the forests over it, he backed off and is now looking northward.
Hmm.
All right, so next would be Henrietta. Since you were away for a few. What the group went and did is that Tamiko rode north to go find out about the railroad claims from her friends who still work for the railroad. Cookie went and talked to the sheriff, got some information. He'll be bringing that back for you guys to collectively talk about here in a moment. And Chico went to the land office. In your case, you have the opportunity to talk to either Davis or Weston because both of them do frequent your bar. So, which would you prefer to talk to? The landowners who came to you in the first place, or did you want to try to talk to Weston himself?
Let's go for Weston.
All right, so Mr. Weston comes in with his entourage, his regulators. He's got 4 guys that are with him almost all the time. One of them wears spectacles, carries a ledger book, and a shotgun. Obviously, he needs a shotgun because with those glasses, he probably can't see more than 20 feet. The second guy that's with him all the time is a tough-looking hombre by the name of Vasquez. And Vasquez, because of his background, doesn't speak hardly any English. He does know a bit of Spanish and usually sits by the front door with a rifle looking out the door. The third guy that's almost always with Mr. Weston is Kyle, and Kyle is the pedantic, fastidious yes man. Whatever Mr. Weston says is what Mr. Weston gets. That kind of guy. He's the one who runs to the bar to get the drinks. That kind of thing. And then finally, the last one that's with Weston is an old codger that he only calls him Colonel. He doesn't actually address him by any first name. He's still wearing a Union Civil War uniform with the epaulets ripped off, as if he was dishonored in some fashion, but he's still proud of the uniform. So that's the group that sat down in your bar today. So of course, Mr. Weston ushers you over. Says, I'd like to talk to you, young lady.
What do you need, sweetie?
Ah, I love it when you say that. You say that with such relish. Says, matter of fact, visually, I'm imagining him to look a little bit like Tim. I can't remember his last name. Rocky Horror Picture Show. The lead.
Curry.
Tim Curry. Yeah, it looks like Tim Curry. And has the hairline that he's parted it down the middle, but it's receding, so he's got just little sprigs coming off on the left and right side of his center of his
So
forehead.
like Tim Curry and Oscar.
Exactly. He says, I don't mean to pardon you, but could I get some of that lovely brandy that you have in the top shelf? I would gladly pay you for it as usual. But I needed to talk to you. It seems you've had a conversation with the Davises, and I'd like to hear what they had to say, if you don't mind.
Oh, actually, I do mind. I don't tell anybody what anybody says in here. This is a sacred space, baby.
Oh, I do love that you say that. That's fine. That's fine. Brandy, though, may I?
Sure.
Thank you.
Now, you want the top shelf brandy or my girl brandy?
Top shelf's fine.
Okay.
I don't mind paying for it. He throws a newly minted U.S. gold coin. Enough to basically buy the restaurant for the day. I mean, that's big money to throw a gold coin on the counter.
Okay.
He pats the coin as you bring the drink, and he says, "There's, I trust that'll take care of the bottle. Would you mind? I understand you play a bit of cards."
I do.
Well, we definitely need to discuss your favorites. I'm particularly partial to Pharaoh, but do you have a choice? What's your poison?
So, out of character wise, I don't know anything about cards.
Okay.
So I don't,
No,
I don't
that's
know
fine.
what
That's fine.
to
That is the marvel of role play is that you don't have to know anything about it, and yet you can be a master at it. I will, as a matter of fact, as we go, I don't remember the rules of Pharaoh myself. I do know that in the West, that was actually one of the first games that was used at casinos until they realized that the odds were dead even, and then they got rid of it because Pharaoh was too fair of a game, and casinos could lose their butts. So they switched over to blackjack and poker specifically.
Yeah, those are like the only 2 card games.
That's okay. If you know anything about poker, you're good to go. Because I was going to suggest if you've played any of them, you might have played Texas Hold'em, and arguably Texas Hold'em is the most flavorful of the poker games because there's so much drama involved with the river and the turn and all of that nonsense. But I don't know if
You know what? I had somebody try to teach me poker, and I was like, this is way too much.
Fair enough.
Blackjack,
Poker.
I know.
Poker, I hardly know her.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, just know that the bidding sequence in a gambling game is you're dealt cards and you bet. Then you get to see the first of the cards, which is called the turn, and you get to bet again. And then they show you even more cards, and that's called the river. And then you make a final bet. That's.
And then it's the flop.
Well,
is the last card.
The flop is the flop is the first flop, and river, then turn. And the reason why it's called the river is it's halfway through, and if you've gone that far, you're probably going to commit. So it's literally you finish crossing the river, or do you not? Anyway, you don't have to worry about any of that. Just know that he's going to want to play cards with you. Offer to play whatever game you like. And since you are a sharp, we can pick a game you actually know to make it easy for rules. So a slapjack or crazy eights, or he'll bet on anything. So he's.
I prefer Farkle.
Go fish.
Go fish. Go fish. That's a good one. That's a good one. Matter of fact, I have in my regular role play group, I've got 2 players that when things get boring during the game, when their characters aren't involved in anything, they actually start sitting there and role playing Go Fish. It's so funny. Got any 3s? No. Go Fish. Just nonsense. The 2 of them. Anyway, so we're playing Go Fish for some real dollars here. Penny a point. You know, he's not a big gambler. But he says, so understand you know the sheriff. You had much dealings with the sheriff?
I know everybody, honey.
Oh, he just kind of blushes a bit, fans himself. Why, I do love it when you talk like that, sweet young lady. Don't want to embarrass myself. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got a bit too forward there. I should slap myself. At any rate, how much do you know about our illustrious sheriff?
This is Sheriff Nottingham that we're talking about?
We're talking about the one and only Sheriff Nottingham. Yep. That Yankee boy that got elected.
Old sheriff in line in his family.
Oh, is that Cookie walking into the bar happy with himself? He goes, I see you got some other clientele. I just got one more question for you, Henrietta. Would you be interested in selling the Yellow Rose?
No.
Okay.
It's my livelihood, honey.
Sure, but lady of your status, we could definitely set you up in a way where you wouldn't have to work another day in your life.
I don't work a day in my life right now.
He laughs, finishes off the bottle of brandy, and with relish, and right from the bottle, he's very uncouth in that way. That he
Relish from the bottle.
Relish. Yeah. Slug. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
All that vinegar. Oh, it's so good. No, it's actually that he had a brandy and he put the relish in the brandy.
Oh God, no.
They stop this now.
Yes. So anyway, he nods and heads for the door. Says, "Thank you very much for your time."
Oh, hey! How you doing?
And he says, "Get out of my way," and pushes right past Farnsworth.
Well, if
Hey, be nice.
I'm gonna bump him and see if I can like lift something from his pocket.
Okie dokie, here we go. You get away with 2 silver pieces, and most importantly, a single little brass-looking coin. Looks different from the rest.
Interesting.
Hang on just a second. I got to take care of something physically here. I'll be right back. I don't have to go very far. It's just the other end of my room here.
I think I figured out what's going on here, everybody.
You found brass?
Confederate treasure.
Shredded treasure. Why? Wait, really?
Well, yeah, the president of the Confederacy owned that land, bequeathed it to Davises. I'm betting there's some sort of Confederate treasure buried on that land.
Oh. No, what about the coin I lifted from him?
I don't know. I'm not there yet. We gotta wait for John. I'm just saying in meta. I'm hoping that it's Confederate treasure because that's cool.
Well, given that everybody involved seems to be a Northern sympathizer or a Northern person, it's probably not Confederate treasure.
Right, but that's why they're interested because what I was told in the land office while you were gone was that the Shepherds are Davises descended from Jackson Davis, whatever his name was.
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis.
Jackson Davis. That's his other brother.
Yeah, that's who they're related to. And who was the president of the Confederacy? Apparently, not that I would know that.
No, but people in the world would know that at the time.
Yeah. Normal people know that.
They would also know the other name that I mentioned, which was the actual landowner by the name of Bedford Forrest. And when Bedford got arrested at the end of the war, he was one of the guys that was involved with war crimes, including the Andersonville. And so Bedford Forrest was dishonored. They stripped him of his land rights and everything. So that it's explaining why Bedford Forrest would relinquish the land to the Davis clan is just simply to keep it in the control of the South.
Right. My head is too full of music stuff.
I know. I get it.
I've had to flush everything else.
So
anyway,
that's
Confederate treasure.
Yeah. So the coin that you did find is marked with CSA, by the way, Cookie.
CSA.
I have a replication Confederate saber, by the way.
Okay.
Cool.
So
Anyways.
So you a sympathizer with those slaveholders?
No, I just got one. It was that or the SS. That's just what they had in the shop.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a tough choice.
Chinatown, everybody. Gotta love Chinatown.
Confederate stuff or Nazi stuff?
Well, at least Confederate stuff is less likely to be recognized. I think the SS stuff would be really easy to pick out.
In the thing, it's a really pretty gold filigree with a big old hand guard,
Right.
and there's no CSA until you pull out the blade, and then down on the base of the blade, there's like a CSA, and I was like, I didn't even see that when I bought it, because I was just looking at the really pretty gold filigree because I needed a saber for an opera I was doing.
Nice.
And it worked perfectly, but it's always fun to me that I bought it, and my dad is such a Civil War buff, so he didn't like it.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, to me, those kind of things are relics, so it doesn't matter which side. What's really fascinating is the ideology. There was a really good mini series that was done, I think, for PBS called The Civil War, and it really went into. It was actually one of the few pieces that I've seen that was actually fair in terms of dealing with the people of the South, because so much of it, paints them all as slave traders and really black, dark, clear black lines on what they were fighting for, and that wasn't the way of it at all. So anyway, so a Cookie comes in, robs him for 3 coins, and then the entire group walks out. By the way, Cookie, you may have gotten away with it, except but you clearly lock eyes with the yes man as he passes by, and so clearly somebody was caught onto what you did, but they didn't say anything.
I don't care. I'm fucking Cookie. I name my hat to him. Like I know. Oh, here, give me a second. Let me turn my camera.
Tip your hat.
I tip my hat. I'm going like,
Yeah.
like that, and like with this grin and talk.
Right.
And then I flip the coin in the air and catch it and walk to the bar.
He's the crazy old coot.
Yep. Anyway, they've now all departed. So this time it's Cookie and Henrietta that are in the bar. Tomiko, now I got to deal with Tomiko's stuff while the rest of you are regathering. Tomiko, when you get to the town, you do notice that the rail work has stalled out. The people that you know that are associated with the railroads are basically sitting on the timbers, looking nervous. Are you back yet, Jean?
Gene.
Nope, Jean at least muted herself when she was talking with her friend, so that was good.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You're back. So your friends are sitting basically on their hands, looking nervous. The railroad's not moving at all, which is very weird.
Yeah. She goes up and she kind of wore like simple clothes,
Oh, sure.
though the swords.
Traveling clothes, robe, and all of that. Swords
Yeah.
swords probably swaddled across your back, but
Yep.
and more than likely straight up and down, so that they don't detect it as a out and out weapon. There's a few pleasantries that you exchange with your Japanese compatriots there at the rail yard, and they let you know that there's Mr. Johnson and Mr. Weston have been apparently conversing by messenger, and that there's a drunk that has been seen up here by the name of Angelus, that probably would know more than they know specifically. So you may want to try to find this Angelus guy if you can, and find out what he knows. But there is something going on between Weston and the Atchison Railroad people. Mr. Johnson.
I get a description of the man.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
she
then-
might have known about Angelus.
Yeah, you would
wouldn't
have.
she?
You would have run across Angelus. He's a kind of a listless drifter that's been known to end up overnight in the jail in
Okay.
Maryville. So you've seen him around.
Okay, I'll go looking for him.
Okay, well he's back. He's back in your hometown. But you were wanting to look into Mr. Johnson. Did you want to go and talk to them or find?
Yes.
Exactly, Henrietta. So you gonna go talk to Mr. Johnson? While you rode up all this way, you might as well try out. You know, there's a, by the way, near Atchison is near Waco is a place known as the Brookville Inn, and they have the best fried chicken on the planet. I kid you not. Oh,
Kid you not.
I think I know
Yeah.
what the next
Yeah.
the next bad guy's gonna be. His name's gonna be Diego, and he's gonna get lost in some sand.
what?
Sand Diego.
No, that's his first name, Sandy Diego.
I thought it was going to be
He's gonna
chicken
die
foot.
in quicksand, and then I'm gonna say,
Sandy chicken
Sand
foot.
Diego.
There you go.
Anyway,
Not the ego.
Yeah,
So-
the ego.
11 would
he
be
goes
so
up
angry.
to the, I guess it's a tent, right? Usually it's a big tent there where the supervisor is.
Yeah, well, you're in the right place. You are in the right place. We are chock full of those. That's the one of the chief tenets of Nycos is that any of my adventures is that the word play is the weapon of the day. So I do get accused of punishment
Hey.
from time to time.
If you play in some of the regular games, you'll get lots and lots of BPs if you got more of those.
Yeah. So well, I like the fact that your character's name is Chico, so that's where it got started. So
Yeah, well.
Eco State Penitentiary?
yeah, that's where it's at, but it's with
Yeah.
a C instead of with a K.
Chico Tarfield.
You got it. So anyway, yeah. So you're one of those, those huge canvas,
And
war era tents. Yeah, Atchison. As a matter of fact, you guys might have heard of another guy by the name of John Brown. His family ended up owning pieces of the Atchison Railroad.
well, okay, she goes up there and stands at the outside and knocks on the
Well, you're not
post.
even at a knock at the. You come walking up there. More than likely, in your past, you probably did work for the railroad, left under probably threats. I imagine that you, because of your warrior background, you may have, let's say, hurt somebody who worked for the railroad management, and so they kind of kindly asked you to leave. So you returning would probably get their dander up a bit, and
Okay.
so they'll escort you on in, and Mr. Johnson will be in the middle of one of these Brookville chicken dinners and look up from his rib and thigh, and look up at you and say, "So, what you
12
want,
piece bucket.
Tamiko?"
I was really curious. I come here up to visit some friends. I occasionally do.
Yes.
Usually I just,
Yeah, I've seen you around,
well,
but I
um,
understand you're asking about an associate of mine.
just a moment, sorry.
Okay.
Mute.
Ooh.
Mute.
She mutes her phone.
Mute.
Mute your phone. There we
Okay.
go. She'll be back in a
There you
minute. Okay, so the rest of
Yeah.
the other three of you have already regathered at the inn, and so you back at the Yellow Rose, so you can start.
So I
start
take out the
kibitzing.
coins I took. Okay.
Yeah, so start kibitzing. So you pull out your coins.
This place is gray as gray can be.
I don't know. I just think I think you're just a great person. This place is just as colorful as you can be.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Alright then. Well, I would like some top-notch brandy. I take out the coins I stole from the guy. It's on the other guy that just came in. Place it on the table. Also this, and on the was it the brass coin?
It's bronze.
Bronze coin. So I have no idea what this is, but hey, maybe you do, honey. And I place it down. Henry.
Yeah.
What year is it right now, actually?
It should
How
be
long ago was the war?
65. It was just over a year ago.
Really, only a year ago.
Yeah.
So this is fresh.
Yeah. That's why the land deal had to go down so fast, and that's why things got a little curious, and why a carpetbagger would be so interested in the local land ownership.
Yeah, because if this place becomes any place,
So me saying I was in the war is very, very likely.
Definitely. And your lack of knowledge about the Confederacy suggests you were on the northern side.
Oh, well, duh, but I mean...
Yeah. Not only that, y'all were talking with a Western accent. You weren't talking with a Southern, and you were definitely talking to a Southern lady a few moments ago. So.
Like I said, cannonball went off near my head.
Yeah.
It all jumbled things up.
Like I said,
I'm back.
Cannonball forged in Vicksburg. So, y'all up here asking about my associate Weston, and that kind of concerns me. I mean,
I haven't
what
asked.
what does
Excuse me, I haven't asked about Weston. She didn't. They told me.
Yeah, are you nervous about Weston for some reason, John?
what?
I did not mention Weston at all.
Gene, methinks he doth protest too much.
When I went to them, I asked,
I get that, Gene. He's making shit up.
"Oh,
He's trying to get you into a fight. He hadn't figured that out. He's letting you come clear into his lair, so to speak, while he's eating chicken. He's going to be surrounded by his toughs.
uh-huh,
You are a slinger, right?
shootist."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Sword.
there's no gun evident, but it doesn't mean she doesn't
That's why I
carry
said.
one.
That's why I said slinger, because you're a sword slinger. You're still a damage dealer. You don't invite a damage dealer into your central lair in the middle of the second scene, unless you're going to try to goad them into something stupid.
I mentioned nothing about Weston. He's a landowner near
Yeah.
Maryville.
You came all the way from Mirrorvale for something. I know you talked to your friends, but you went with such urgency and you came so directly. I figured you must be I don't know, itching for a fight.
You borrow trouble that is not here.
Oh, it's using some of that Zen warrior shit on me, eh?
And what do you know of Zen warriors?
Does anybody have
How wooed.
Just a moment.
Wow,
Oh,
that's right.
It's Confederate treasure, damn it.
Damn, that's right. That's right.
No, it's Confederate. It's Confederate land. You get it's Confederate.
Confederate land trying to be taken over by us Yankees.
By them darn Yankees. That's right. Come down here, Texas, talking that Yankee talk. So,
okay. Sorry, back.
no, that's okay. So, you itching for a fight, or are you coming to palaver?
Clever.
I had a curiosity of why the railroad was stopped. Some of the
Why would my railroad have anything at all to do with your curiosity?
no, your workers are kind of worried that maybe the railroad has run out of money.
Are they worried that they're not going to have a job? Why? They can always just get back on the boat and row back right across that water if they want.
True. And they can leave like I did.
Yeah, well, like I said, are you here to palaver or are you here to start
Well,
a
I
fight?
was just wondering.
So now
Keep
you're
it wandering
so you're now an advocate for the worker?
I always was,
Mm-hmm.
which got me in the trouble to begin with.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing to see here, young lady. You can go back and tell your handlers that all railroad businesses will be consolidated once this land issue gets resolved. And
Which
this would
two
be
railroads?
Excuse me?
You talked about you will consolidate. So I know.
Why did I use that word? And he looks at all of his associates and they all like nod. And he's like, oh, I may not be able to let you leave here, Tomiko. You might end up being a permanent resident of Waco. You see several of his folks going for their guns.
I reach behind my back and whip out both things and slice the nearest ones that have guns.
All of their trigger fingers fall to the
Yeah,
floor.
exactly. Well, because you react so swiftly and decisively, you give yourself an opportunity to get out the door before they can get fully armed. So
Okay.
there's several shots do ring out as you go, basically sprinting through the train. But as you're leaving the restaurant or whatever, he actually then motions for his guys to put him away because clearly shooting you in the back would look bad for him. So.
John, I think you misspoke. It's not before they could get armed. It's before they could get de-armed.
Nice. Other than the first one, of
it was
course.
like
The first one, of
shit.
course. What's that?
I was thinking like more like when she's running away, she's like hitting the bullets in the air with her sword.
No,
As she-
no,
That's just silly.
that one we haven't yet added. We haven't added yet the Asian martial arts film role play game. We have to add that. We have to
But
add that.
no,
We-
I would have sliced the tent guy wires as I ran out the front.
that's more like it. You just as you jet out, you do quick swipe to the left and right, and the whole front of the place will collapse on him. All right.
And then she's quick like a bunny rabbit, gets
Right.
to her horse,
And away
and
you go. All right.
away I go. Thank you.
That's a good song.
Yep.
Right here.
Okay.
Sounded like the beginning of a techno song.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It was a phone.
Yeah,
she
no, I
hung
know.
up.
I know. Alrighty. So now that you all have information, this will be the next morning when you're all reconvened at the.
Well, I got a long way to ride.
Our little
I
friend
know,
coming
but
back.
Gene, if you notice this, watch this really carefully. Did everybody get that?
Backwards?
He
hand
he
waved.
hand waved it.
That's the wonderful
Magic!
thing.
What sorcery is this?
I know. That's the wonders of the playground. I need you guys all to be back together, so
You are.
you're back together.
I love
Good
you.
God, John.
I know.
Does it mean nothing to you?
Wait, hang on a second, just for clarification. That does not in any way transcribe itself into Nycos. Okay, this is
Okay.
totally a playground thing. All right, so because there are no
Sure,
rules. There are
sure.
no rules here for me to hand wave.
Mutilate.
anybody.
Mutilate?
Hand wave. There's no. Yeah, thank you.
Elevate, John. Gene. Elevate.
Elevate. All right.
Ah.
So, Henrietta, you've got the group back together. What all do we know?
Okay. She comes
I
in.
didn't
She
ask
had.
you, Tamiko. I was asking Henrietta.
I'm sorry.
I would say we know pretty much nothing more than we did before, but I think I was gone for some of it.
Okay, well,
couple
that'd be the
times,
good
so-
thing is that they'll be able to fill you in. So
Yes.
That's kind of the point, is that you go, okay, I didn't get much from talking to Weston. What all did you get?
Weston.
Oh,
Yeah,
by
pretty
the
much.
way. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
You're up
I'll go
first,
first.
Cookie. Go ahead. You took the
Okay.
floor.
When I went to the chef, it seems that he's not been eating at all, really. There's this nice little black book that he seems to be wanting to keep a secret in his desk. I was able to get the local drunk, I guess you could say.
Angelus.
Yes. And he says that he has a job. The sheriff's going to have a job for him to go to the city and back,
Weston gave him the job.
Weston and back. And well, when he should be getting back right about now. He's going to come to us, and maybe we can find out what he had to go do, what type of delivery he had to go do. That's pretty much it.
Mumble, 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 mumble.
Did you get
Mumble.
Did you get what he was saying though, Tamiko? What name triggered in your mind?
Angelus.
There you
I
go.
got it.
Okay.
I got it. And he probably knows what's going on, and so do I have an idea.
So tell them what your idea is.
Okay. I think the Atkinson Railroad is joining up with the Southern Railroad, and I think it's coming through near Maryville. What he wants is the town, so he can have a stop on the way, and therefore will profit greatly from selling the land and businesses and whatever else, the water to fill up the trains with,
Right here in River City?
right here in Maryville.
We're gonna get a train that goes.
Listen, it's only because, well, I had to leave rather quickly and dump the tent on on Johnson.
You did good.
He thought he should let the word consolidate slip. And that was the word that led me to believe that uh, they were joining together. So
Henrietta,
now we know.
just a quick note. Henrietta, there was one thing you got from Mr. Weston. Do you remember at least the proposal that he offered? You're still muted.
No.
Yes, I remember the proposal and the other offers he had made.
Okay, so the fact that she's now saying that
Mhm.
Atkinson seems to be interested in such a thing kind of adds credence to his offer. So maybe this
Yeah.
supports her theory, at least as far as that goes.
He wanted to get hold of her property because what do passengers want when they have a break from a train?
Something to drink.
Down to the local tavern to drink or play
Booze and
cards.
women. I mean, doesn't everybody?
Exactly, doesn't everybody? So this therefore brings into why Maryvale, and Chico, you have the information on that. Why this town would be so interesting to these Northerners.
Oh, we're having a problem.
Chico! Chico!
Today's our day.
Yeah, oh,
Back in the face!
sorry, I forgot my name was Chico.
See?
I was like,
It's
come on.
really
I was
good,
honestly,
something-
I was looking at Steven's character. I was like, come on, Chico. Come
Chico,
on.
Chico.
I was like,
Oh.
what's wrong with you, Steven? We're waiting on you.
Oh.
Yeah, that's me.
Too funny, too funny.
Confederate gold. No, but I know that
Confederate land, anyway.
the Confederate land, the Davises, are descendants and were given the land from the El Presidente. And more than likely, being this Weston is a northerner, he wants to buy up their land. I think it's Confederate gold, but could be that he just wants the railroad stuff.
Well, there is also that weird coin still sitting on the table that Cookie put up there. So there's that.
Confederate gold.
What? This is bronze. It's not gold. You need
Oh, really? And he picks up the bronze coin and rubs it on his shirt and then bites it. Is it gold?
That's a good thing to have done, because as you bite into it, as you know, gold is pretty soft metal, and your teeth actually make a really nice indentation, revealing the fact that it's plated with a bronze material, but it's actually a gold coin.
What?
Confederate
For him.
gold!
Gold?
Shut up.
Down gold?
Quiet. Cookie. My God. You
Sorry,
can't-
I haven't seen it in such a while.
Quiet. Quiet.
I thought I
Quiet.
got excited.
Quiet. Quiet.
She reaches for her wakizashi.
He lays the backside against your lips.
No, you wouldn't have armed yourself.
No,
That's
I wouldn't have
ridiculous.
armed because I would have to draw blood to
Right.
put it
So,
back,
yeah. No.
which I did before I put the.
More than likely, it's that put your hand on the blade and put your two fingers forward or whatever, like they do in the movies.
Yeah.
To get him to shut up.
I never.
Alrighty. So now at least we have the concepts of the plot. So what's our next course of action? What do we want to engage?
If we pick up the gold while the thing is still in their deed is still in their possession, and we acknowledge that we found it, then you'll probably kind of give up that idea of taking the Davis's land.
What?
As
Whoa.
Wait, are we taking their land?
You have one brass coin that was stolen by Cookie. That is
Yeah.
not. There's no. That's not sufficient. You say gold. What are you talking about?
Are we gonna be?
that he said that coin is Arium.
What?
Arium. Exactly
Arya.
what
Arya.
Arium.
Arium. Exactly what it is.
It's just gold. He gets gold covered with other things. But that's not the point. It's just one single coin. That is not enough to buy a railroad or buy a town.
No. So where is he getting his money?
Well, hey, is
That's
what's his name gonna come in yet? The drunk?
Wait a moment.
He's still locked up.
He's still locked up. He said that he would have information for you after he's in jail. So he was going to wait and see if he could find out more about the book. This is what you asked him for.
Okay.
So he's still in jail. So you can go. You have to go back to talk to him. So that's one action is to go talk to Angelus. But Gene, you didn't tell them exactly why you needed Angelus or what you knew about Angelus.
Oh, the name that you mentioned about Angelus.
What about him?
He might know more about what's going on with the railroads.
Okay, let's all go over there.
My friends
Just
told me
relaxing
that.
right now.
Wait, we can't give it away.
What do you
We
mean?
can wait till the sheriff goes to bed. We can just talk to him through the bars.
We're gonna wait a whole day? Alright, I'm fine with that. I doubt he sleeps though. I bet he
Are
goes
you-
out gambling.
Or do you want to try to bond? What is that called here? Bail, bail.
post
I know.
bail. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Post bail for your friend.
Oh, I know where we can do it. I pull out the gold, the copper coin or the gold,
No, you don't use that coin.
and we spy his lineage.
You don't use that coin. Put it away and forget it.
No. Let's.
Robots are coming.
Yeah, the robots are coming.
Robots.
Yeah,
Drunk
they're only an hour
robots.
away from me, so
Side.
it's not as far away as you guys think.
Well, I'm gonna go to Los Angeles.
I didn't say Los Angeles. You're gonna talk to Angeles. What does everybody else want to have? What's your next plan of action? This is what I'm asking. What do you guys want to do? You want
Is
to
Angelus?
confront the sheriff again? Do you want to go talk? I mean, what do you want to do?
I want
Physically.
to just go.
I think we need to get the sheriff off and away from somebody when we talk to him.
Well, why don't you make a gambling game? Like, start a gambling game, and then I'm pretty sure if you said, Sheriff, they're doing a tournament. Blah blah blah, something like that. I'm pretty sure he's gonna like, oh shit, I got some money, I need to go make some more money. He's an addict. He's gonna want to gamble.
But we already know he's in Hawk up to his elbows, or that's what you believe.
Yeah,
The possibility.
true, but addicts don't give up until they drown.
But in a role-play game, I have to depend on you guys to tell me what you want to do next. So what?
Okay, how about finding out how much he's in Hawk? That's probably in that black book.
That's probably in the black book.
Now,
Yeah.
he doesn't have quarters at the jail. He goes away at the night.
That is correct.
So we
Okay.
just wait. I'm
All
not
right,
sure.
do the hand movement, John. Do it. Do it.
Okay, but is this the only action that you want to take? I'm just wanting to make sure that we can get as much done as you want. That's only one course of action. What else would you like? Anything else that you want to do? Otherwise, we can just go to that one, because that's easy enough.
Go.
So the group waits. Are you all collectively going to go talk to this guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, I could always distract the sheriff. I mean,
there
hi.
we go.
Oh, there
you
we go.
Invite him to dinner since somebody told you he's starving.
Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful.
That will get him.
Why don't you come
get
over
him-
to the Yellow Rose and have dinner on the house?
There we go. Oh, he would be just downright ecstatic about that. So the sheriff is headed over to the Yellow Rose, and that way you guys can go and question Angelus without worrying about that. It also allows you to technically possibly get into the jail itself, because being only a locked door between you and it, there's at least one person, prospector, who is not above popping a lock when necessary.
Well, I could take him
only
into
do it
custody.
to help the poor. And me.
Okay.
And-
Okay. Did you hear what Chico was going to suggest? I actually kind of like that angle too, since he actually may be. We haven't yet confirmed it or not. He may be a Texas Ranger, so he may have the authority to actually arrest you, Cookie, and take you into the jail.
No. Oh well. Yeah. But I could also take the other prisoner out of the jail.
Well, I'm just saying, in order to do that, you'd have to do it while the sheriff was there, and so you'd either have to reveal.
Henry has a better idea, I think.
Well, Henrietta's going to do that anyway.
Right. So I'm just cascading all the different things together, so that the reason why Chico is in the jail is he's flashed his badge if he has one. So have we
Yes.
determined therefore you have one? All right.
I do have one.
So you have one. You've now got access to the jail. You will have seen the sheriff lock the drawer on his desk as he leaves, but he tosses you the ring of keys and says, "I'll be at the Yellow Rose when you get done. Bring me the keys if you don't mind."
I will do.
Okay, so now the two of you are in the jail with Angelus and the key ring and the locked desk. Of course, the key to the desk is not on that ring of keys. That's just the cell doors, the singular cell door. Henrietta, the sheriff shows up, and his first name, of course, is John, and John Nottingham comes and sits down in your restaurant and just looks pleased as punch that you and he does look like he's not well, like he's worried sick about something. His eyes are constantly looking towards the door, like he's afraid the last thing he needs is going to walk in the door, that kind of thing. So it's awfully nice of you, Miss Pangborn, to offer me a meal. To what do I owe this kindness?
I've heard you haven't been eating, so
Okay.
that I can't have that. I need the sheriff to be healthy so that he can come to my establishment when needed for taking care of all the riffraff that comes through here.
Wow.
Surely you know about the riffraff that comes through here.
Yes. Well, it would definitely be worse if we had a railroad around there, huh? He kind of chuckles. Nervous laugh.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but
We
I
don't know
think
anything about
it's-
railroads here.
So, what's on the menu, if you don't mind me asking? I'm a bit famished, actually.
Steak. Potatoes.
well, I got a nice stew going for you if you'd like.
Why, yes, miss. Why, yes, please. Thank you very much.
All right.
Plenty of bread and butter and cheese.
All the things that are in a stew.
All right.
No, cheese is usually not put in the stew.
Well, a man who is putting food in his face is going to be quite affable and probably more talkative than he should be. So feel free to ask the sheriff questions about things, because he's very, very appreciative of this meal.
All right. Given how Henry is dressed,
Mhm.
she'll just lean forward a bit, cross her arms, lean forward a bit towards the sheriff. you
Yes.
know.
And she has that low décolletage.
And he's
Yes.
a bit of the bit of
Décolletage!
a little bit of soup is hanging, stew is hanging on in the corner of his lip because he's stopped eating and is looking.
She'll just reach across with thumb, flick it off his face, and be like, "So, what's this about a railroad you're talking about?"
Oh, I'm probably talking out of turn. It's that Angelus fella. He just won't shut up about it. Says he's under some kind of secret mission. I don't understand it quite. Weston, Mr. Weston, he's been downright kind despite my current economic situation, and been very patient with me. Trying to figure out how I can repay that debt, but nonetheless, Angelus just won't shut up about the fact that there's a railroad coming here. I think that's just downright crazy, plumb crazy, because we got the shepherds that own the swale down there, and why this has been territory held by the righteous Southern government for quite some time now.
So that's what the problem is? It's been held by the Confederates for so long that the Yanks are trying to take it over?
Damn straight. That's what they send them carpetbaggers for. I mean, that's the reason why that Mr. Weston even moved down here is because of his affiliations with that northern government. Splitters. We had our own good flag too. Anyway, I'm talking out of turn. Tell me about yourself. Why ain't you never married? Oh, I'm sorry. My lips get a little loose when I get to filling my tummy. I apologize.
Are you making a proposal?
Oh no, no. You're a darling woman. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure you will make somebody a lovely wife. But I'm not the settling down kind. Besides that, I wouldn't saddle you with the burdens that I have visited upon myself.
Well, I mean, it might be lucrative for both of us.
Well,
Because, I mean, I could use some security here.
I am a gambling man, and I heard you're pretty good at cards yourself.
I do tend towards the cards every now and again.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it'd be nice to have my own security here. Maybe I can make you food more often than not.
Well, now the conversation has turned a little not interesting for the sheriff. So I'm going to switch over for a second. Chico, you and the rest are inside the jail. Which part do you want to handle first? Dealing with Angelus, or do you want to try to pop the desk?
Let's go ahead and.
Wait. Oh wait. Sorry.
Go ahead. You pop that desk, sir. You pop it.
Cookie, as soon as she's in the room and the sheriff is gone, is like bolting across the room. You want me to pop it? Come on, let me pop it. I want to break this lock. Come on.
I take out a piece of dynamite, shove it between the cracks,
Nice.
and ready to go.
Really?
I don't think that's the.
I know. I'm joking.
That's
joking.
wrong.
I could see that happening. You reach in your bundle and you pull out the stick of dynamite and lay it on the desk.
No.
Get to see how fast Chico can get across that room and put that dynamite back in your bag.
Get across the room. You mean get out of that room?
That would be a different kind of. That would be a new kind of jailbreak. That's for sure. Plaster the poor Angelus against the back of the wall, because these buildings aren't really huge. It's just basically a 20 by 10 space.
All right, just hurry up, you damn fool.
Don't push me up, youngin.
Okay, it takes a bit.
I take my lock pick and I jingle the lock.
Are you willing to break the lock, or are you going to try to pick it?
I'm gonna pick it.
Okay, so it's gonna take you some time. So Chico, if you
Oh,
want to
it's gonna take me time. I'm gonna get a sledgehammer.
Calm down.
I walk over to Angelus.
He looks at you like with a fearful eye. He says, I don't owe you any money, do I?
No, you don't. In fact, I might work on helping you out of here if you can tell me what you know that you've learned about the Atchison Railroad.
Well, Atchison, Johnson's clear as the Mississippi. You know, it's kind of hard to figure a man like that coming this far south when he could have gone straight across to Denver. Hey, we're actually building a real decent railroad out there, out of Golden. But no, he decides to go south. Now, God knows why.
Well, there's a lot of land down there you can produce.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know what you think I know, but I just been currying information back and forth between Mr. Weston and Mr. Johnson.
What was? Oh, you wouldn't ever look at what your communication was.
Question. Are you guys getting this robot voice too, or is it just me?
She's got a little bit of a bad connection, so she's staggering a bit. I'm still hearing most of what she has to say. But yeah. There, now you're better.
Yeah, thank you. You wouldn't by the any chance looked at what some of that communication was, did you?
Why? I tried first day, but you know, I'm not much of a Bible reader, and to use scripture like that just seems really confusing.
Scripture like what?
Oh, just passages, little snippets, really. Just taking, to me, it's taking stuff out of context. It's like chapter, verse, and word, and then chapter, verse, and word again. Just page after page after page of it.
Do you remember any of those verses?
Ha! Yeah. Just, was it John 14 and 2 or whatever, where it says Jesus wept? That's the shortest one. I kind of remember that verse.
My favorite scripture.
You remember Jesus swept us to the shore.
No, Jesus wept. That's it.
Wept.
That's the shortest verse in the Bible. 2 words.
Do you remember anything else?
I just said no, ma'am. I just am a courier, and most of the time I'm a little bit. Well, okay, so I might be 1 or 2 sheets to the wind. Ain't quite 3 sheets till after I get paid.
I
Hun,
I have
take
a
out the bottle.
favor,
I'll place it on the
Angelus.
desk.
It's really kind of important. The next time you have something from Johnson or to Johnson,
I ain't gonna betray my payer. They're paying my salary. They're giving me money.
they will get the message. I will not stop the message from going, but I'll pay you a little extra.
That don't seem right.
Can I try something? Place the
Angus-
Okay,
bottle.
stop. Farnsworth, you finally got the drawer open.
All right. Sorry.
That's okay. You just had to give me some time.
She takes out a small bottle that's corked.
He goes, "No, I ain't taking no poison. I know what you said.
No,
You
this is
Orientals
one of
do.
the-
I know you.
no. She unpops the cork, tips the bottle a little, clear liquid flows out. She drinks it. This is one of the.
Is the alcohol? Was that soju? I
Yep.
heard it's the devil drink.
No, it's called sake. It's a rice wine.
Did
Okay.
she
Sorry.
say sucky or sake?
More powerful than wine is, but we call it rice wine.
Okay.
Just take a sip.
He takes a bit into his mouth and spits it out because it doesn't taste right. That's just wrong. It don't taste right. Ah. Ah. You ever had any of that sake shit? Ooh.
Oh, yes, I have.
Ugh. Put hair on your chest, that's for sure.
Not on
Booze.
mine. Maybe on yours. It's what the warriors toasted with before they went into battle.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why they go to war all the time. Because if I had to drink that shit, I'd be fighting like every day. So.
So you would like something a little different.
Yeah, I prefer good old whiskey. It's faster to the brain, you know.
And I
Wine-
What's in the
put off
drawer?
on the
Wine and-
bottle that's right there on the desk.
Okay, there inside
you.
inside the drawer is a black book. It's folded, and beside it is a Bible and a piece of paper with a bunch of scriptures written on it. It's not
Oh,
written.
okay.
It's not written in the same. When you open the book, the handwriting in the book does not match the handwriting of the piece of paper.
So it's not a note to himself. It's a note from somebody to him.
Not even.
Not even?
Well, you haven't figured that out yet. So
No, we haven't.
anyway, so when you open the drawer, Angelus is gonna look past Tamiko and go, "If you got the paper in there, I need it. I gotta deliver it."
To who you gotta deliver it to?
Mr. Weston, of course. He's bringing a message south when I got capped.
What
So
did you
Chico's
do?
going to take the Bible,
Mhm.
take the scriptures, and start to look at them.
Yes, and it's an arduous way of doing it, but with the book, chapter, verse, and word, you're able to string together basically information. It's basically they're encoding their messages using that process and the Bible. So basically, it's saying that there's going to be a meeting set up in 2 days along the riverfront to confirm the deal and that the head of the Santa Fe Railroad is supposed to be there. And you guys have never met him. He's a
No.
off the
Nope.
map party, so to speak.
So, Chico is going to take a pen and change a little bit of the scriptures to make it look like, instead of when was it he's supposed to come?
Day after tomorrow.
So he's gonna make it for next week.
Okay.
Eh,
He's gonna
Sure.
switch that as much as possible,
Sure.
and then take it back, and I'll give it to Angelus.
Angelus lips the words "thank you" to you. Doesn't actually say them outright. Says, "Now you gonna get me out of here? See, you got the ring of keys. It won't take much.
Now, that would be against the laws.
But if I punch you, then you can say I stole them.
Yeah, but then here's the thing: if I were to receive a confession from you, then I might be able to take you into Texas Ranger custody.
You're a ranger.
And you know, as Texas Ranger, we usually let our prisoners free range to be able to call on them at other times.
Why? Are you duly deputizing me, sir?
Well, we're very grateful to our informants as well.
Well, if you want, I'll raise my right hand, and there's a Bible.
I'm
right
not deputizing you.
there. No. Well, okay. If you're gonna get me out of here, I suppose I can confess for being a ne'er-do-well and a drunkard and.
I need everything that you know about this situation.
Oh, like I said, I don't know much. I'm carrying information back and forth, and they keep.
Anything else you might know, it might seem insignificant, you just shout it out.
Yeah. They the first day they wanted to pay me with these bronze coins. They didn't even have the U.S. government on them. They had some other weird shit on there, CSA or whatever.
ooh,
Whatever
can I have a
could
look
that
at
be?
that?
I didn't take that trash. I had them pay me in good old
Ooh.
U.S. silver.
That was a horrible idea.
Well, it depends what's going to happen in the next couple of years, if it's a bad idea or not.
So, anyway, yeah, he'll basically just tell you that the trade was supposed to be done in Southern Gold, and apparently that there's some kind of a story that ties it to a myth from Virginia. Apparently, under Bedford Forrest's command was a colonel by the name of Thomas Jefferson Beale.
Mhm.
And Thomas Jefferson Beale was responsible for moving the Confederate bank from Virginia south to Texas because it was seen as too close to the war front with Sherman marching south and such. They were concerned with all that gold being lost, and so they bronzed
So
it.
that-
They literally bronzed it and then sent it south. So
Interesting.
at any rate, I'd be much obliged if you could get me out of this cell, and of course I'll continue to bring you information. And as a duly designated deputy of the ranges, I'd be willing to offer Tomiko those documents she was asking about. At least maybe let her have some time to copy it down.
If you get any more of those coins, give them to me.
No, they don't pay me. They pay me in silver now, like it's supposed to.
Well, I'm just saying, if you get some, just hand it. I'll give you this whole bottle of brandy if you can get some more of those.
Okay. I'm a drunk. I get that, but I ain't stupid, and I certainly can't be treated with like a child. I'll deal with you fairly, especially since I'm now 3 days sobered up here in this cell.
Mm.
Fair is fair.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at Cookie.
So we have a deal there, Ranger.
You'll be duly deputized as a Texas Ranger informant.
Yeah, it's just what do you call it? What do you call it? There's a word for it.
Agent.
Agent.
A
An agent. There you go.
special-
I'm a special agent for the Rangers, and of course, I understand complete secrecy. Nobody can know. I get that too.
Of course, of course.
All right, so just open this here door, and I'll get on my way and share with you when I can.
He opens it.
He shakes your hand, pumps it like a water well.
I slide the bottle over to the side so he can take, since I do owe him.
He looks down at it and sniffs it. This ain't that sake shit, is it?
Hell no.
Tastes a little
What
bit.
do you think?
This is that candy water you gave me the other day. Where's the good stuff?
It's not candy water. How rude. This is my personal home brew.
No, you told me it was brandy.
It was brandy, yes.
Yes.
Homebrew brandy.
It's candy water to an hardcore alcoholic. I want to get right to the good stuff. Holy crap.
I find I had to win the silver coins. Yeah. Go. Go get drunk.
Okay, as he starts out, he heads straight for the Yellow Rose Saloon. You might
Yes.
want to warn him not to go there.
Yes,
I'm
it's the
sorry,
sheriff
the-
there.
Sheriff's over there.
Thanks. Anybody know where I can get a horse or mule?
Livery
Right
stable.
over there, and I point to the horse and
He
mule
just kind of
store.
hand waves and says, "I'll be back," and wanders off. All right. Black Book does show considerable losses, all purchased and paid off by Mr. Weston, to the tune of almost $18,000. It's a lifetime. This is a lifetime's debt. This is more money than a person should have any business gambling.
Wow.
Get this.
But how did he get that money to begin with?
He never had it. He just was getting really lucky in a casino and got ahead, and then he put it right back in. And apparently, he potted in against somebody known as Cheyenne Slim, and that's who he lost to.
They probably set him up to win the money, and then
That's exactly what gamblers do. Set him up. Oh, you're going so lucky. I keep losing. How about if we just go double or nothing now for all of it? Yeah. Oh, you lost.
Gotta give him a chance to win the money
Gotta
back.
win it.
you know.
Yeah, now that you're down, now I got a chance to. Yeah, exactly. So this Cheyenne Slim apparently is quite the gambler. And Henrietta, you've heard the name. This Cheyenne Slim's been somebody that's been kind of a thorn in your side in the past. As a matter of fact, the reason why you ended up buying the Yellow Rose is that this was the guy that was consistently beating you at tournaments across the north.
He was using marked cards, stacking the deck.
Sounds like it. Sounds like somebody you'd like to take down at a table if you could. You get him to play a fair game someplace.
I hate can't control.
All right, so you've set up the meeting by changing the note. You've had the sheriff here overnight. Basically, kept him occupied long enough to loosen his lips, and of course he's been lapping up everything that Henrietta has been offering him, and so he's well positioned so that if things were to change and he wasn't in debt, he'd be more than willing to back anything that the Davises want as far as the land ownership in order to please
Yeah.
his newfound neighbor,
what?
Ms. Pangborn. And,
The physical therapist for me is here.
all right, you go
All
do what you got to do, and we'll take it from here. You have a great afternoon, because I got less than half an hour anyway. So,
Okay. Bye bye.
all right.
Bye.
See you later.
So Henrietta, the sheriff, is in your pocket. He's willing to do whatever you need him to do. So what would you like from the sheriff?
I'm thinking, hang on.
Sure.
No.
So Uh, Henry doesn't actually have any intentions of marrying anybody.
No,
especially him.
I did, yeah.
What?
I know. It's so shocking.
She's playing the sheriff on
Oh.
playing his heartstrings. Oh
The
my!
cruelty.
Oh, now the darkness of the blackmail starts to make sense in her
I
outfit.
know, right?
Oh,
Oh, so we actually get to see a little bit of the Chrissy in the background now. All right.
Like I said, this is the type of character that I'm used to playing.
Exactly. So
So usually there's more song and puns, but
yes, well, it's only your first game with us, so that'll come with time. So
the monstrosity of it all.
I know it's giving me the vapors. Oh wait, that's
He's-
1500.
that's the sheriff who's wow, this is more than I can possibly bear. Yes, such a pretty young northern girl and all of that.
Good Lord.
Shouldn't be thinking such lascivious thoughts.
Oh, goodness.
So,
Sorry, I have to get the song out of my head now.
which song? Which song?
It's called Pretty Lavinia,
Oh, nice.
and it's actually the basis for my burlesque name,
Nice.
Really?
Lavinia Vale. But the song says, "Pretty Lavinia of the 6 and 5 mile inns plays the last parlor in a town of missing men. Carolina swamp juice by the finger, how it lingers, pretty Lavinia."
Nice.
And
Interesting.
basically, she's poisoning everybody.
Nice. Well,
Sounds like fun.
yeah, and
Oh yeah, it's a great song.
and just
American murder song.
nice. So just to make our introductions complete, you perform in burlesque, and Travis is an opera singer.
As am I.
There you go. You guys probably maybe you've sung together.
Wunderbar.
We're gonna have to write Nycos the opera now. It's done. It's a done deal.
Oh, good.
I'm a spinto
Good
soprano.
Lord.
I take you're a tenor.
I am. I'm a Judenliche Heldentenor.
Nice.
Anyway,
Wow.
sorry.
Wow.
I
Was
started thinking, I'm like, what songs
that's
could
a-
we do together?
yeah, exactly. It's a Wild West adventure that just got derailed. That's okay.
now back on these rails.
All right,
Yeah.
back
Where
on
on
where
the
they
rails.
laying them down?
back on where I'm trying to lay down some track here. And clearly the sheriff was trying to lay down some track. So
Yeah, well.
so, and he's bought your story
Yeah.
hook, line, and sinker. So just know that you now have him as a ace up your sleeve. Not that you would be stacking the deck or anything.
Never. I would never do something so egregious.
Exactly.
Egregious.
And
Oh.
so Angelus does finally come back into the bar after the sheriff is gone. He
Okay.
says, "Sorry, I couldn't stay away. I know you're the only place around here where I can buy a decent bottle." And he puts the silver piece that he'd gotten from Tomiko down. Says, "Give me a bottle.
Any particular bottle?
Whatever a silver piece can buy in the whiskey variety."
Whiskey. All right. That I can handle.
Yeah.
So she'll bring him a silver coins worth of whiskey.
Which he tips his hat to you and lifts the bottle. He's happy as a clam. After a few minutes, after probably 10 or 12 swigs, he does tell you that he's now a spy and puts his finger to his mouth.
Oh, you're a spy. Or who?
He says, "Not that I tell you who I work for," but he's looking right at Chico. He grins again.
Oh my.
Oh,
"I'm afraid I'm not very good at this."
you should be careful because he's kind of a shady looking guy.
"Oh, I don't know. The more he drinks, the prettier he looks."
Wait, what?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's pretty, but he's still shady.
He's pretty shady.
He's pretty shady.
Okay, so anyway, I gotta go deliver a message, so I had to get some liquid courage. So thank you very much, and
Yeah.
keep the you can have the rest. And he Walks.
Okay.
Can't think of a word. Change. That's it.
I was gonna say, do you want your change?
No. I gotta stay just like I am. No changes for me.
Okay.
Chuckles to himself as he staggers sideways out the door. All right. So you now know about the debt. You know that. So the next thing is going to be the. We can now do the hand wave to the next day when there's supposed to be a meeting, and you've set it up so that the guy from the Southern Pacific from the Southern Pacific, from the Santa Fe Railroad is out at this meeting place by himself because nobody else knows that that's where he's supposed to be because they think he's not coming for another week.
Okay, hold on. I need to have a little talk before that with everybody else.
Sure.
To figure out whose side are we on and what are we doing.
Right. Because we are running down to the end here, so figure out your culmination because it's going to come down to meeting this guy.
Right. So, Weston does not know about the meeting that he's supposed to be having here, right?
Right.
This is with the guy from the Santa Fe Railroad who is trying to get him to buy the property so that he can run the railroad through here.
And Johnson is supposed to be there, and Johnson knows about it because he's the one who sent the message in the first place. So you have both railroad guys here.
Right.
Here as in the Yellow Rose here, or here as in the town here?
The meeting is supposed to be, sure, we can make it the Yellow Rose because they wouldn't know that you're colluding with anybody else. So sure, why not?
How about
you're a Southern bar, and these are Confederates that are pulling this deal.
what if we take the deeds of both railroads, and make you, I point to Henry, like you the controller of the town, so then you be hence mayor, and we can have the profits.
That's really funny. Cookie, the guy who I mentally have had in my head as being the guy who is probably the closest to being drunk all the time, is the one that's clearly got political aspirations because he wants you to run for mayor off of one conversation. That's ambitious right there. That's what that is.
I can respect ambition.
Okay, so for clarification, everybody involved with this whole thing has been Confederate except for Weston. If you think about it.
Correct.
So you now cornered Weston out of the equation. So you're now going to get the meeting with the two railroad guys without Weston being there, and technically with or without the sheriff.
The question is, do we want the issue? Do we want the deal to go through, or do we want to ruin the deal?
Yep, that is the question.
Henry,
I
do you
don't
want to
remember what
protect the
deal was
town?
for.
They want to buy the town so that they can pave a railroad through it. Am I right in that?
That is correct. They're wanting to buy the rest of the town. The only person that's offered money to Henrietta was Weston. So the northerner was throwing money around. The two southern guys look like they're actually trying to subvert it because they already have, if you will, the shepherds in their pocket because those are sympathetic to the southern cause. So the question is, like as Chico said, are we going to break the deal or are we going to make the deal?
Which one allows the shepherds to keep their land?
Making the deal.
Making the deal allows them to keep it?
Yes.
Oh.
That's
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Breaking the deal would
breaking the deal.
Because that's right. Because
Okay.
if you make the deal, that water source becomes a railroad water source, and the shepherds get driven off.
Okay, so Henrietta said that she would try to help them, so
Right. So we're breaking.
kind of honor bound to that.
All right. So.
Since they are regulars here.
So then the easiest way is for us to cover our faces, bandit style, and say we were hired by Weston to come take out the competition, and shoot at the 2 railroad guys, and they'll lose all thoughts of making the deals here and they won't work with Weston again because he tried to kill him.
Or conversely, you also know that these 2 guys are gamblers. Or at least you know, let me rephrase that. You know that specifically Johnson is a gambler. So you could technically play into Henry's strengths by basically having them play for control of the
Indeed.
area.
Yeah. Let's
Or
give-
I could just poison them.
Or you could just poison them.
I'm up for this, Henry. I want you to be mayor. I want this town to be under your control.
You know, I wouldn't mind that myself, but
Then this is easy. We run a thing over on Weston's house, take the Confederate gold, and buy out the rights to the rest of the town from him.
And then we can talk with the people.
Or
who
we
want the
send
land.
Chico over to seduce the land lady, and then we change all the documents to Henry's name.
All of a sudden the Pangborns own everything? Nice.
So that's our entire plan. We do all of it.
Okay, we're doing all of those things. Great. Since we only got 15 minutes left, it makes perfect sense. So all of this goes down. And the way it fundamentally goes down is that you find out that the guy that shows up, that is the owner of the Southern Railroad, the Santa Fe Railroad, is none other than Cheyenne,
What?
the guy that she's wanting to beat, the card player,
Hard shark.
the card shark. The one that drove her out of her hometown and embarrassed her way back when.
Well, he's gonna die today, so it's all good.
Right, since this is a one shot deal, so she ends up getting into a card duel with her nemesis. Even as Chico is over putting his hand on the back of the little Confederate lady and getting her to switch the documents for the 1 gold Confederate coin you have, because that's the only thing she would recognize, and that 1 coin shows you to be the Southern gentleman she thought you were, so she's able to buy into that. And meanwhile,
I'm gonna tell her that I'm Confederate spy and that it's to help the Confederacy with our underground operations, and
you're a
it's
prince?
for the children.
It's I can't do it for you. I can't do it for your women, but I can do it for your children. Yes.
Yeah, it's for the little Confederate children.
And meanwhile, Cookie, because he's such a perceived dupe, he's able to go out to West's house, find out where the actual Confederate gold is, and get the gold there to make all of this happen. So,
There we go.
yay! I'm sorry, it was kind of the denouement wasn't nearly as satisfying as the previous ones where we had shootouts and Chico and Steve.
Today was kind of a random day because we had everyone disappearing left and right.
Yeah, it was hard to hold things together story-wise, because everybody kept. And it's not a big deal because that's the way it goes. But you kind of see the idea that with the playground mechanic, everybody wins. Everybody, whatever you want to do is pretty much going to happen. I just have to figure out how to make the story work. Thank you for playing, Chrissy. I really appreciate you showing up. You're more than welcome anytime. Every day we're here at 1 o'clock doing something.
And some
You
days
should
at 6.
come by on Friday and Thursdays.
No, Wednesday and Thursday nights I also play. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights.
And we might have a new group starting on Saturday.
Yep, I am going to be starting a new group on Saturdays. I've been
Apparently.
several people have asked me about it.
So
Oh.
pick any and all of them.
Yep.
well, I have a game on Thursday nights right now, so I know.
That's awesome.
I know.
Our Thursday game is actually at our first game is at 1 o'clock. So,
Okay, cool.
but
Yeah, I'm doing an Apocalypse World.
nice.
Ultra Modern 5.
Nice. That's on our wheel. We could have actually played a post-apocalypse.
See, I would have done well with that. I play a heavy in that because I took over for another character who decided to leave. Like
Nice.
the person who was playing the character decided to leave, and so it was written in that her name was actually Sigrun, even though that they were calling her Sig all the
Right.
time. And no, my name is Sigrun.
Right.
First of all,
Right.
second of all, I left all of the stats. So she's like 6'3"
Nice.
and like I don't know 280 or something like that. She has the strength
Wow.
of a bull,
Nice.
and she actually powered open a one of those like garage door type things on an industrial facility
Oh wow. Yeah. If you
that you
push.
need like a
Yeah.
power opener to do. Yeah, she just reached down, grabbed the bottom of it, and gave out a
Nice.
huge
Yeah. You don't need a winch.
hurrah.
Need a winch and a truck to pull those things open. Usually. Yep. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Wow.
So, and she's their pilot and all that stuff too.
Nice.
She always tells them, "I'm strong like ox, smart like cart."
Nice. Like
Or
cart.
like cart?
No, she did like cart, not like heart. We have a
Haha.
Travis.
Haha.
Travis plays a character that is an automaton in one of my D&D campaigns.
Nice.
So, alrighty. So thank you so much for playing, and let me go ahead and close out the stream. I know it was kind of a slow end to the game for everybody there too, but make sure you watch us every day, 1:00, as well as the other ones on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Everybody say bye.